All right, Zatima fans, I feel like with the information coming out slowly but surely at this point, Zatima, I mean, seriously, I don't know what the show is going to be called, but if it's called Zatima, I honestly don't think anybody would mind. So just a heads up, in case you didn't check out my initial video, I posted it, was it yesterday or the day before, basically breaking the news that Tyler Perry is working on a sister spinoff for BET Plus, which will focus on Zach and Fatima, Zatima. Thanks to Murphy's Multiverse for putting up the exclusive article, and they just dropped another one just like the first video. I will leave a link to this article in the comment section below, and you can go ahead and check out their article for yourself. But of course, in the video, I want to break it down. There are several things to go over here, you know, from the plot of the series to character descriptions. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the auditioning process, because everybody has been blowing me up since I posted the article saying, Jeremy, how can I get on the show? How can I do this? How can I do that? And sadly, I forgot to put this information in the actual video I posted recently, so I want to put it in the video now with just the information in regards to Zatima. You know, it's 10 episodes for BET Plus, and the names of the executive producer, of course Tyler Perry's the writer and director, casting director, casting associate, casting assistant. Now I do know that based on this information, the audition process will be taking place between November 5th, yesterday, and November 19th. And the start date of production, I guess, based on the information here, is December 15th through December the 21st. Now, I know that might seem a bit like, wait, that's a bit of a short time to film, right? But remember, this is Tyler Perry we're talking about and how fast he works. And remember, it's only 10 episodes. Now, truth be told, remember, All the Queen's Men was initially supposed to be only 7 or 8 episodes, but in the midst of filming it, they actually got a bigger order to do 10 episodes. So just because the Zatima series is supposed to be 10 episodes now, who's to say that it might not get bumped up to 12 or 15, depending on, you know, things. Maybe, you know how Tyler Perry works, you know, he's in the middle of filming something, he's like, you know what, let's change this, let's move this around. So 10 episodes, I'm thankful for that amount, but I would not be surprised if things shift around and we might get more than 10. Remember, it's not guaranteed, but it has been done before with other projects that he's worked on. I'm just putting that out there. So before going further in the video, make sure you give this video a thumbs up to show you like it. Hit that subscribe button as we get closer to 190,000 subscribers. Hit the bell icon and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post content on the channel. And follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. And I checked the subscriber watch time last night for the month of November. We're at 37%, so we should get to 50% in no time. So just keep subscribing if you are new. I'm guessing this Zatima news might bring in new people to the channel. Hit subscribe and hit the bell. Seriously, you do not want to miss out whenever I post information like this, because a lot of things are happening at Tyler Perry Studios, and I don't want you to miss out. So, where to start? Now, between the time of me recording this video and when I actually edit and post it, I'll go online to see if I can find any kind of reliable website where actors or up-and-coming actors have their chance to audition for Tyler Perry Studios. Just remember, I am a fan who just talks about the content. I have no connections at Tyler Perry Studios. I'm not an actor, so if I'm able to find a reputable website like a casting site where you can kind of submit your applications, I will do my best. If I can't find it for this video, my bad. Who knows, maybe when I'm editing, I might actually have a website that I found and then I'll screenshot it, because I'm pretty sure somebody, no, I think Tyler Perry Studios actually made a post on their social media about the auditioning process. So if I can find that post, I'll actually put it on screen now so you can see it for yourself. There you go. But Yeah, it looks like things are in full swing. So I think the best thing to do would be to start off about the storyline of these Atima series, and then we'll talk about the character descriptions and go from there. All right, so the plot or synopsis or storyline, if you want to, call it that. Zack and Fatima are young, happy, and in love. Now, this is the next line that's going to trip a lot of you out. They have just moved in together. So it seems that Fatima accepts Zack's quote-unquote proposal to move in with him, which could also signal that Hayden's plan to sabotage Zack's chances of buying the housing complex fails. So Fatima and Zack actually move in together, and I bet Karen is somewhere ready to just burn that house down. All right. And they both agree their lives are perfectly meshed, and whatever happened in the past does not matter. Okay, that's cool. This approach to life and love works like a perfectly timed watch until other people knock on the door, dragging the past and the future in with them and kicking that perfectly timed watch straight across the room and into a brick wall. I'm afraid of some baby nonsense because remember, Zack and Fatima have put their past behind them, but like Three's Company, come in, knock on our door. Some people are going to come in from the past and the future with them. When I think about that, I mean somebody could have had sex with somebody in the past, and then the future could be a baby with that person. So could this mean the Karen pregnancy thing might happen? You never know. And just so you know, I'm unaware now of exactly where in the Sisters timeline this takes place. So this could be months from where we are now in Sisters, but I don't really think so. I feel like it's probably going to occur in quote unquote present day. And we're just going to focus more on Zack and Fatima and their lives outside of the main Sisters cast, because it's ironic how the characters are basically the couple that fans love the most garner the most complaints from fans because, man, Zatima only had like 2 to 5 minutes of screen time in this episode. This is ridiculous. So now Tyler Perry's giving them their own show. And it's interesting because in the last episode, even though I really hated the episode, I thought it was interesting how Fatima said, yeah, I was talking to one of my girlfriends about how I had a dent in my rear tire. And I'm like, wow, this is good, because that one line might not mean much to others, because that line was just to establish that Fatima was having a personal conversation and Hayden knew about the tire, so he obviously must have eavesdropped. So that let us know that Fatima does have people she associates with outside of Andy and outside of the Sisters group that she was once wanting to join so badly. So with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about these characters who are said to be a part of these Atima series. Okay, so first up is Angela. No, not Angela Robinson. Angela, who is Fatima's best female friend. She's also dating Jake, but Angela has no idea that Jake's best friend Zack is the man who is moving in with Fatima. After meeting with Fatima and getting the full story of their whirlwind romance, she demands to be introduced to Zack and instantly realizes that she's heard all about the shady corners of Zack's life from Jake, who, remember, Jake is dating Angela, and Jake is one of Zack's good friends, just like Angela is Fatima's best female friend. So it's pretty interesting. This goes back to the plot line or storyline of the series where it says, even though Zack and Fatima have put the past in the past, some people might knock on their door, dragging the past in with them. So it seems like Angela may not have the best first impression of Zack based on his past. So this is pretty good stuff here. Now, the next character, let's see here. Deja, who is a beautiful young woman that is so impressed by Zack's duplex, she wants to rent it on the spot. She gives him all her credit info and is ready to write him whatever check he requires. She's single and remarks that she's glad that such a strong man who will be living right next door, a commitment that hints at trouble down the line. As we learn, Deja is a nail technician by day and a high-class stripper by night. Now that line right there at the end, even though, you know, obviously it isn't confirmed, who's to say Deja doesn't work at Club Eden? Because if you've watched All the Queen's Men, then you know that El Fuego from that show also was on Sisters for a few episodes, and he's coming back later on in season 3. We also know that from an interview with Sky Black, aka Jacoby, aka Amp from, well, Jacoby from Sisters, Amp from All the Queen's Men, there will be a crossover episode happening. So in All the Queen's Men, look, I would say spoiler alert, but the show's been out for what, almost 2 months now. So if you haven't seen it, I don't know what to say for you. But there's a point where Madam allows for female strippers, and it's possible Deja could be one of the new strippers there. But then again, I also believe there was a strip club right across the street from Club Eden, so who knows. So it looks like Deja will be a person who's able to afford the rent on her half of the duplex, but also might come on to Zach. So, you know, you got temptation living next door. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. So the next thing, we have Tony, another of Zach's basketball buddies. Tony has an extremely negative view of marriage. He regards love as just another of the pitfalls that stops a man from having a rich, full sex life. He's pretty bitter when Zach announces that he's moving in with Fatima. I feel like we all have a Tony in our lives. Like, you know, if you've been single for a long time, you and your best friend, it's like, you know what, man, I'm never getting married. I ain't never messing around with dating and whatnot, you know, for long term. And I'm pretty sure females have friends like that, where basically, you know, if you and your best friend have both been single for a while, it's almost like a sense of betrayal when your friend actually meets someone and then they get in a full-time relationship, move in together, eventually married. It's like, man, come on, what happened to the past? So it looks like Tony is going to be the Mike, if you watch Bruh, you know, Mike of the group, where it's like, come on now, I thought, hey, bros for 4 hoes, right? So those are 3 characters right there: Angela, Deja, Tony, with a mention of Jake being Zach's best friend. Now, looking on to more characters, and this is what I like. I love how we're establishing lives and friends for Zach and Fatima outside of the Sisters cast, because if you look at Sisters as a whole, what Fatima and Andy, I mean, Andy is really the only person that I would say on Sisters Fatima has a positive relationship with. Obviously, her and Hayden don't get along for obvious reasons, and I'm not counting Zach. And I guess Tyler must have went the route of trying to put Fatima in the Sisters cast, but the Sisters group, but when you look at it, it really isn't going to work, because Karen complicates things, because it's almost as if, you know, you have the Andy, Sabrina, Danny thing where we always got our girls back, and Danny's made a point to always say, you know what, I don't really trust you, girl, because, you know, you mess around with Zach and everything. So it just wouldn't work. There would always be some resentment there. And the next character on the list here, okay, this is an interesting one. There's a character called Belinda who used to date Zach and is also another close friend of Fatima. So yeah, Zach, I mean, it's just, okay. Remember on the Haves and the Have-Nots where I said I didn't really care for Candace's demeanor change towards the end of the series, where she became, you know, we saw more of a, and it was weird to even use this phrase when talking about Candace, like a light-hearted, kind, you know, comical character, as opposed to the venomous bitch she had been up until that point. And people were like, well, Jeremy, it's possible for people to change. Maybe it's because of her being pregnant or something like that. But Charles, I'm like, just because a character goes through an intense shift in character, seemingly out of nowhere, in my opinion, that doesn't erase all the bad deeds they've done from their past. It's kind of like, you know, what's a good example here? Okay, this is going to sound weird, because if you're not a Marvel fan, Thanos in Infinity War, he snapped out half the universe. Half of all life in the universe. Now imagine if he became a good guy. Well, then again, in his mind, he's a good guy, so I'm not going to use that example. Darth Vader, because he was an evil emperor of the universe in Star Wars, and then he died at the end of the movie. How can you make him a good guy? It's like, okay, he goes back to the Ewoks and everybody else, but how is everybody supposed to accept him after all the bad deeds he's done? You know, how do you reform or repent for that after you've killed so many people? So in Zach's case, you know, he had he didn't have the best relationship with women as a whole in his past. Look at Officer Rhea from Sisters, the character portrayed by Raquel Bailey, aka Blue from the All the Queen's Men series. She was a woman from Zach's past who, even though Zach has somewhat changed in the present, that doesn't erase how past Zach made her feel. So now you have Belinda, who we don't know, obviously. It just says who used to date Zach and is also a close friend of Fatima's. So it's one of those things where even though Zach and Fatima hit it off, Zach isn't starting off on the right foot with Fatima's female friends, you know, from Angela dating Jake, who is best friends with Zach. So she automatically has, you know, a bad first impression based off the shady corners of Zach's life that she's heard through Jake. And then on top of that, you have Belinda, who more than likely didn't have the best relationship with Zach, you know, when she used to date him. And now you're going to have all these girls in Fatima's ear whispering to her about how Zach isn't anything. But, you know, it doesn't matter how much money he has now or what the come up was. It's like once a dog, always a dog. So it's going to be very interesting to see if Fatima is going to allow herself to be, I don't want to say manipulated, but allow the counsel of her best friends to determine whether or not she continues to see Zach in the positive light that she currently sees him in. Because think of it this way, with the whole situation of a few days ago, Zach ended up having sex with Karen. She's probably going to be thinking, well, you know, I have been worried he might do something like that again. And it's going to be one of those situations where, will Fatima choose Zach over her friends? Who's to say? And it's kind of interesting because with all the reasons Fatima wouldn't be a good fit for the Sisters group, now her circle of female friends might be taking the roles of Andy, Karen, Sabrina, and Danny by, you know, just saying all these things about Zach. So you might have like 3 or 4 Karens, if you will, in Fatima's ear saying Zach isn't anything, but we'll just have to wait and see. Alright, so it looks like in terms of Zach's basketball buddies, there's also a character who is named Nathan, who is married to Caroline, who treats him like a dog on a short leash. So Nathan might be whipped. Let's see here. I also talked about Tony already. Oh yeah, I talked about Deja too. And let's see. Yeah, to round things out, these characters offer some insight into what we might expect from the spin-off story. It looks like the whirlwind romance between Zach and Fatima will remain turbulent, especially with Angela's knowledge of Zach's looming over them. So we might have to expect some conflict in the upcoming series that challenges their love, but also explores the relationships forming around them. So let me just say up front, based on this information, I'm very interested in what the Zatima series has to offer. I feel like overall, we're going to see a healthy depiction of Black love with realistic obstacles for them to go through. We don't have to worry about the feds busting in like they did on Gary and Andy. Hopefully we won't have too many situations where crazy exes will show up with guns. But I think that what Tyler Perry could do with the Zatima spinoff is actually show us real situations that happen. That's not to say Sisters isn't realistic. It's just the fact that it got stale quick because of the repetitiveness. I feel like when you look at the cast of this show and the way these characters have been described, we're going to see both Zach's male buddies and Fatima's female buddies, and it really might show us more, I guess you could say, what do they say? Beware the company you keep, or, you know, your friend group or your circle says a lot about you as a whole. So who's to say that Zach's buddies aren't going to be good influences? or Fatima's friends might not be as positive as she is. I mean, maybe Fatima is the positive anchor of her sister circle, and Zach is like the leader of his male crew. I don't know, but I will say that over the past week, just watching old sitcoms on YouTube, because they popped up on recommendations. There are a bunch of YouTube channels with just black sitcoms that have been lost to time, and it's really cool to go back and watch those kind of shows. And I really want to see how Tyler Perry is going to mix it up. Like I said in my initial video when the exclusive broke, I hope this series doesn't take the BET Plus ability to make a show rated M and run with it. I don't think this show really needs to be too mature, with the sex and everything, just because I feel like these two characters are these two characters are fan favorites, and this show could allow us to dive deeper into their characters and personality. So I think this show looks promising. As I mentioned before earlier in the video, I'm going to do some research, and if I'm able to find out like casting information, how you can apply, I will let you know. I'm excited. It definitely looks like a project that might come out maybe spring 2022, because season 3 of Sisters is obviously going to come to a close in December. So like I said, I don't know exactly where this series will fit in the Sisters continuity, but think of it this way. We got Sisters. Bruh is a Sisters spinoff. All the Queen's Men takes place within the same universe as Sisters and Bruh, and now we're going to have a Zatima spinoff. So I'm excited, very much so, for Devale and Crystal. And if you actually audition, please let me know, because even if you don't get the role, just knowing that I've been in contact with somebody who applied for such a hit series, I feel like overall people are losing their minds. I said in my other post that I know that BET Plus isn't something that a lot of people like, but everybody's like, you know what, bump it, I'm getting BET Plus if it means I'm getting Zatima. And I doubt this is a show that's going to drop all the episodes at once, even though I wouldn't mind it if they did. I just feel like Tyler Perry knows what he's doing, because if he does a Zatima series and makes it like one episode a week, people will buy BET Plus for 2.5-3 months if it means watching every single episode. But what are you most excited to see about this spinoff series? As more information comes out, I will be sure to cover it on the channel. Just keep your eyes peeled. Like I said before, hit this thumbs up button to show you like the video. Also hit subscribe, because like I said, I'm trying to get to 1 million subscribers someday, but baby steps. Let's try to get to 190,000 quick. Also, if you want to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App. And, also check out Murphy's Multiverse. They have a lot of exclusive news that's always being covered on their website. And yeah, just keep your eyes peeled. If you come across any information before I do, feel free to let me know on social media. All the links are in the description. A lot of people contact me either through Twitter, just tweet at me, or, DM me on Instagram. So thanks so much for tuning in. And with that being said, everybody have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you in the next video.